No, I don't think letting women vote and have too much of a voice has been a good influence for society.
What? What the fuck?
Oh, and the Misogynist of the Year award goes to Yogi Abs. He's probably gonna take that as a compliment. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So I don't know if you guys have heard of this man named Yogi Abs. I didn't know about him until the Queer Kiwi did a video about him a while ago. She was reviewing his tweets, which I can't do unfortunately because his Twitter has since been permanently suspended. So that sucks because his tweets were comedic gold in the worst way possible. To put it simply, this man is a professional misogynist. And trust me, the description will not offend him in the slightest. He's very open about his belief that men are supposed to be the leaders and women are supposed to be the followers, and that the world is being corrupted by the big bad feminists. Anyways, I'm bored and I need some comedic relief instantly, so we're gonna go through his TikTok page that I found, because his YouTube videos, like, I don't want to sit and watch a whole video of him talking about how, like, female sexuality is corrupting the world or whatever, so I'm gonna watch minute TikToks instead. And trust me, it's amazing. You're gonna want to see this.
Be very wary of women like this, gentlemen. They pretend to be Christian. They say they love Jesus, but they don't read the Bible in 1 Timothy 2:9, where it says, "Likewise also that women should adorn themselves in respectable apparel, with modesty and self-control, not with braided hair and gold or pearls or costly attire, and they prance around in skimpy clothing." They say they love Jesus, but they're not reading the Bible. They're not walking with... Guys, these are the women that attract simps online, find a husband, and then just divorce him a few years later. There's many born-again Christian women that cannot be trusted for marriage. Don't look at how a woman presents herself online. What is she really like? What are her influences? What is in her mind? How hard is it going to be for you to lead her? That's what you should think about.
Oh my gosh, it's just so weird. Like, imagine being that girl who just, like, uploaded this video about how you want, like, a Christian husband or whatever, and then some random dude is like, yeah, be careful with her. We can be careful with that one, guys. Sure, she might look sweet, and yeah, I don't know anything about her personal life, or anything about her whatsoever. But trust me, she's not as innocent as she seems. In fact, she is the literal devil. Yes, she is Satan in disguise, here to seduce and devour innocent Christian men. She's like a siren, but for godly men. I would be so confused if I was her and someone did this, like, completely unprovoked to my video. But also, like, how is she dressed inappropriately at all? She's showing her shoulder, some skin on her chest, but not cleavage, just literal skin on her chest, and her stomach. So unless you have, like, a fetish for stomachs or something, like, why would this be remotely sexual? Like, none of these features are inherently sexual. Yeah, see that girl over there? Yeah, she claims to be a Christian, but, like, she's definitely never read the Bible, because I can see her stomach. Yeah, that right there, the Antichrist. Hello, me editing here. I'd also like to point out that at the end of the video, he advised men not to focus solely on how a woman presents herself online, but rather to really find out how she really is, which is deeply ironic considering the fact that he just found one video of this woman wearing a crop top, and based off of that decided that she's not a Christian, she's never read the Bible, and that she's looking to seduce a simp and then divorce him after a few years. Like, take your own advice, dude.
What do we have here? Let me put on my binoculars. Oh, it's a male pretending to be pregnant. Interesting. How did we get to this situation? Well, we can thank feminism, first of all, for telling people that there's no such thing as gender and men can be pregnant. And then we can thank social media for empowering people to take really dumb photos. We need to be celebrating the mothers that are more invisible. You know, the people that aren't obsessed with social media and photo shoots, but people who raise kids to be mentally sane. People who create beautiful families, who turn a house into a home, who stay together with the father of their children. To all the mothers out there who are devoted, who are healthy mentally, who love God, who fear God, who raise healthy kids, happy Valentine's Day to you.
Did he think that was serious? Was he under the impression that James Charles did this photo shoot because, like, he genuinely thinks that he's reproducing? Is that what he thought was happening? No, this was literally the rich person equivalent of a child stuffing a balloon under their shirt and pretending that they're pregnant. He knows that he's not with child. And yes, of course we should celebrate good mothers. We should celebrate good parents in general, but, you know, obviously we should celebrate mothers specifically for, like, you know, carrying child to term and giving birth, because, like, that's... yikes. But why is he so offended over this? Like, if his son, I don't know if he has a son, but like, if he has a son, and his son, like, stuffs a balloon under his shirt and pretends to be pregnant, is that how he's gonna react? Daddy, look, I'm pregnant. What? I'm pregnant. Timmy, listen to me very carefully. You are a boy. Yeah, I know. Boys do not get pregnant, Timmy. Daddy, it's just a balloon. Go sit in timeout, Timmy, and take your Bible with you. But these heathen liberals will not lead you astray.
Well, what do we have here? A young woman telling the world on a public platform that she's had a lot of men inside of her. Look, this woman is missing one important piece to the puzzle of how a man's mind works. This woman thinks that men want her, but they actually just want her whole, because it seems really easy to get into. You see, it's kind of like going to a coffee shop. Men find one that's open, available, just has to have decent quality coffee. They go buy the cup of coffee, they drink that cup of coffee, then they throw it out. They can go back to that coffee shop if they want, but they don't have to have any loyalty to it. Throughout history, men have bought coffee from goats. They've had sex with goats. It's not a compliment if men want you sexually, but to get them to fall in love with you, now that's an accomplishment.
Gosh, don't you hate it when women, like, have sex? No, I don't. Not at all. Because I don't care about what other people do in the bedroom. Because that's a really weird thing to care about. I mean, she's saying that she slept with a lot of men. That could be, like, multiple things. It could mean that she has a lot of hookups with different men. Or it could mean that she's been in a lot of actual relationships with men. Neither of which are inherently bad. You don't know what this woman is looking for. Maybe she's not looking for loyalty. Maybe she just wants brief satisfaction through hookups. Men aren't the only people who can use people, and using somebody isn't inherently bad as long as they're aware that they're being used and they're okay with it. Like when you hook up with somebody, you both know that you're being used and you're okay with it. You don't have a one-night stand with somebody and then expect a wedding ring the next day. And if she is looking for loyalty, there are 7 billion people on this planet, so unless she's just like an absolute intolerable person to be with, I'm sure she'll find someone. But hookups aren't just a man thing. And also, fornicating with a goat is not just a hole to fill. That is disgusting and despicable, and not at all normal in any way. If you're fornicating with goats, then you have serious issues that you need to address.
Ladies, sleeping around, racking up a double-digit sex partner count, and then by the time you're 30, wanting to settle down and get married, you know what men think of you? Yeah, I know. It's hard to hear, isn't it? But it's the truth, ladies. Guys don't want to marry a woman who's had so many other men inside of her. Here's the truth. These old hags writing this article and homosexuals, they want you to have a miserable life. Because they're miserable themselves, and misery loves company. They don't want you to be feminine, traditional women, housewives and homemakers, because they get jealous of you. You see this graph here? Most women do want to have kids someday. But in the United States, women aren't having kids until they're 45 to 50 years old, basically a few years before their eggs completely dry up. In Finland, on the other hand, they are doing something right.
That was not at all the problem with that headline. Okay, this makes no sense, because if you wanted to make an argument, like a valid argument against this article, that was very easy to do. You could have just said, you should regret cheating, because cheating is bad, and it can really hurt the other person. You don't have to go out and shame women who hook up with people. Hooking up and cheating is not the same thing. As long as you're hooking up with people when you're not in a relationship, or if you and your partner both have a mutual agreement to not be monogamous, you're fine. And I genuinely do not understand why somebody would have a problem with their partner not being a virgin. Like, your partner's sexual history wouldn't affect you at all unless they had like an STD or something. If anything, wouldn't they be more comfortable in the bedroom with you because they like their experience and they know what they want and what they don't want done with their body? They know their boundaries already? Like, the only reason why I could think of for somebody, like, only wanting to date a virgin is if they either have some sort of, like, corruption fetish, or if they, like, they're bad in bed and they know it, and they're afraid that, like, their partner, they won't be able to live up to their partner's past experiences. If they're just, like, kind of insecure about their own performance. And they want to find somebody whose only experiences are with them, so they don't know any better. Besides that, I genuinely cannot think of a reason for why you would not only want to exclusively date virgins, but also why you would call women who aren't virgins gross. To me, it just feels like he's very threatened by female sexuality. Like, in his mind, he wants women to all be these little submissive housewives who have never had a sexual thought in their life and just live to please men. And if you are, like, a submissive housewife who doesn't really have sexual thoughts and you just live to to please your husband, then I mean that's fine as long as you enjoy doing that. It's just not okay to shame women who don't fit in that little box and call them gross. Like that's really rude.
And Pamela, we were talking about how she was gonna marry Brandon and I was gonna marry you, and we were gonna live next door and carpool in the morning, take our kids to school, and then we're gonna come home and stay in our robes and slippers with curlers in our hair and drink coffee and talk all morning long, and then go home and clean our houses and bake cookies and cakes. It was neat.
What do you mean once made women happy? That generalization is impossible to make. Each and every woman is different and has a unique personality. You know, like every other person on the face of the planet. For some women, staying home, baking cookies, cleaning the house, raising a family is like a dream. And for other women, it's not. And for some women, they like a fine mixture of the two. And neither plan is inherently inferior to another one. I personally wouldn't mind staying home and cleaning, and well, I couldn't raise kids because I'm not good with kids. But I wouldn't mind like being a housewife as long as I have structure and routine to my day. I wouldn't really mind. And I'm sure back when it was like a social expectation for women to be housewives, this was the same. There were a lot of women who embraced traditional gender roles and found enjoyment in that. And there were a lot of other women who didn't. Take, for example, the novel The Feminine Mystique. Betty Friedan published this novel in 1963, and it brought awareness to the struggle that many women felt secretly, where they were searching for pleasure and self-fulfillment that being a housewife just didn't give them. Many of them were hesitant to speak up about how they felt, fearing that they would be judged by others. Because they looked around and they saw that most other women were in the same positions as them, and they seemed happy on the outside. They internalized that and thought that there must be just something wrong with them, not knowing that it was actually quite a widespread issue. Of course, there were women who felt differently. Some women were quite offended by this novel, seeing it as a direct attack against femininity and traditional gender roles. They were quite happy with their roles in life, and they didn't understand that other women weren't. The novel was controversial, but there were quite a lot of women who related to it, and felt like they weren't alone in their experience. Just because women had different roles in the past, doesn't mean that all those women necessarily appreciated those roles.
Hey, whores.
Sir, I wasn't expecting that. I reckon that should be my new alarm clock. Just wake up to that at 7 o'clock in the morning.
It's time to repent for your sins. Jesus can make you clean again. He can make you a new person.
I love the way that was worded, very persuasive. I bet this is how Jesus himself converted people. He wasn't loving towards them or non-judgmental by any means. No, he just straight up insulted them. Because people love when you call them mean names and then offer to save them from their sinful lives. Hey Jessica. What? Do I know you? Are you a virgin? Pardon? Are you a virgin? No, why? Well, that's okay. Okay. I wanted to let you know that doesn't have to define you. Okay, thanks. I mean, sure, you are a disgusting piece of trash, or a chewed up piece of gum, if you will. I will not. But it's okay, because you can be saved from your repulsive, despicable lifestyle. This is getting offensive. Come to my church this weekend, huh? I would rather not. We have a great program for disgusting women just like you. Oh, okay. See you then? Definitely not. The word whore or hoe can be used in many different circumstances. For me personally, I think hoe is a mindset. For example, I call myself a hoe sometimes, when in reality I'm a virgin who's never even held hands with anybody. But calling someone a name like this can be extremely offensive depending on how you use it. Especially if you are calling them a derogatory name and then offering to help them, because that is remarkably unpersuasive. So to help you out, I've created a list of acceptable and unacceptable ways to use the term hoe or whore. I hope this helps. Oh my gosh, Samantha had like safe, consensual sex again? Ugh, what a hoe. It is unacceptable to call somebody a hoe because of their sex life. Because frequent sexual activity is not inherently shameful, nor is it wrong. Calling a woman a hoe because of her sex life is simply misogynistic. And that is unacceptable. On to the next example. Ugh, did Michaela eat my leftover Chipotle again? That hoe. That, my friend, is acceptable. Because eating somebody's leftovers without their explicit permission is an abomination, and Michaela should feel deeply ashamed for her actions. Next example. Hey, I think you're really pretty. Ugh, you just reject me? Well, you're a hoe anyways. Calling somebody a mean name simply because they rejected you is unacceptable. And it is punishable by being publicly shamed on Reddit. And last but not least, hey, it's Adrian's birthday. Hey Adrian, happy birthday, hoe. This is acceptable, because the term hoe is being reclaimed and used affectionately towards a friend. See, it's not that hard. Well, that's all we're going to be looking at today. Thank you all for tuning in to this nonsense. I hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to see more of this, he actually has a merch store, and it is comedic gold. So if you would like me to review that, I would be more than happy to. I'm begging you to let me review that because it's hilarious. As always, thank you for watching, and please comment down below what you would like to see from me next. Stay safe, y'all.